Hello, everybody. Cinephile Mike here. We're in season 4 of awards season reviews. We're counting down to the 98th Academy Awards with 98 reviews in 98 days. Quick reminder before we head into this one, please click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the awards coming your way. Today, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. You know, it's a day of love and appreciation, whether you're in a relationship or not. And look, I'm here to talk about the thing that I've been in a relationship with for years, film. Love them. And it is our 10th theme week this week. We're starting to wrap up BAFTA week, and today's film is perfect. It premiered a year ago yesterday, although it released in theaters internationally a year ago today. If it's your first day with us, all of this week's films are nominated for at least one BAFTA award, the British equivalent of the Oscars, and more. There are a few days left in BAFTA voting through the February 17th, so if you're on the committee, I hope these reviews have maybe helped you out. So, again, for this penultimate episode, I'm talking about Universal Pictures' fourth entry into the beloved franchise, Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy. Written by Helen Fielding alongside Dan Mazer and Abby Morgan, based on Fielding's characters and novels, and directed by Michael Morris, the film was directly released on Peacock's streaming service in the States on February 13th and released in theaters in the UK last year on Valentine's Day. What is this one about? Well, clearly, right there in the poster. Bridget Jones, played by Renée Zellweger, returns at a very different point in her life. Now a mother to school-aged Billy, played by Casper Knopf, and Mabel, played by Mila Jankovic, she's navigating the world after the loss of her husband, Mark Darcy, played by Colin Firth in flashbacks. Don't worry, he's still there. While trying to maintain some sense of normalcy for her children. A night out that marks her first major step back into social life forces Bridget to confront the grief head on as well-meaning friends and familiar faces encourage her to think about what comes next, whether she's ready for it or not. At home, Bridget juggles parenting, memory, and the constant hum of advice coming from every direction, including her overbearing mother, Pamela, again played by Gemma Jones, her co-worker, Miranda, played by Sarah Soleimani, and even her doctor, played by Emma Thompson, amongst the other usual cavalcade of characters we've known and loved for all these years. Her children are thoughtful, curious, and still processing loss in their own ways, asking questions that don't come with easy answers. As Bridget considers returning to work, she's pulled back into a professional world that she once thrived in, finding comfort in routine, even as she wonders how much of her old self still fits into this new reality. As Bridget cautiously re-enters the dating world, her life becomes populated by a mix of past connections and new possibilities. Daniel Cleaver, welcome back Hugh Grant, remains a familiar, complicated presence, while Roxter, played by Leo Woodall, a young park ranger, brings an unexpected spark that challenges Bridget in ways she did not anticipate. And then at the same time, you have Scott Wallaker, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, a science teacher who offers a quieter, steadier connection that slowly also finds its way into her family's orbit. Caught between nostalgia, curiosity, and emotional readiness, Bridget begins to explore what moving forward might actually mean for herself and for the two people who matter the most to her. I will admit, going in, I wasn't sure I wanted to revisit this franchise. It's been about the decade since the miss of the third film, and the second one wasn't that great either. And, the risk of nostalgia for nostalgia's sake is very real. But here's what surprised me the most. It's how smartly this film ages alongside its characters. Rather than chasing the quick gags or the heightened antics of the earlier entries, it recognizes the time has passed. For Bridget, her friends, for us. The humor's still there, but it's gentler and more observational and rooted in the messiness of real life than slapstick chaos, which may be what turns some people away from this one because it's a little more maudlin, but I actually find that that's the biggest strength. Renée Zellweger remains the beating heart of the franchise, and at this point, her, Bridget Jones, belongs in the upper echelon of truly iconic screen performances. Much like how, Meryl Streep finally come back as Miranda Priestley, Maggie Smith, Professor McGonagall. This is a role so fully claimed that it's impossible to imagine anybody else stepping into it. Zellweger brings a lived-in whimsy to an older Bridget, fully aware she's no longer, the young ingenue sliding down fire poles, yet still clinging to the spirit that made the character so endearing in the first place. The love triangle may be familiar territory, but Chiwetel Ejiofor and Leo Woodall each bring a genuine charm and a presence that makes their dynamic feel playful rather than perfunctory. And again, I've said it really is set apart, this film, by the maturity. Helen Fielding's voice remains the steady hand guiding the story, balancing warmth and hijinks, while allowing the narrative to engage itself honestly with its themes of grief, aging, and the passage of time. Director Michael Morris, only on his second feature after the previously Oscar-nominated To Leslie, it really shows a real understanding of, and I'm going to say female character-driven storytelling. He seamlessly blends the new faces with the longtime favorites. The city of London, again, feels like a supporting character. And the film's exploration of faith and loss and memory, and particularly through the eyes of Bridget's children, adds an unexpected emotional richness that we haven't had in the last couple of chapters. Look, if this does turn out to be Bridget Jones's final chapter, it's a graceful one acknowledging that life goes on, and that growing older doesn't mean losing yourself. It just means learning about who you are now. So let's talk about the box office and the awards. As the film was released on Peacock in the States, there's no domestic box office to report. However, in the international markets, this film did quite well, almost tripling its reported budget, making $140,431,671 across multiple countries. Critically, the film is the highest of the four with the critics, sitting with an 88% from 130 reviews on the Tomato Meter, and the second highest of the franchise with the audience, with over 1,000 audience reviews, landing at a 73% on the Popcorn Meter. Award season-wise, the film is currently nominated for one BAFTA, Outstanding British Film of the Year, winning the Critics' Choice for Best Movie Made for Television, and Zellweger being nominated for Best Actress in a Limited Series or Movie Made for Television. The film has been more recognized in television categories across the board. I mean, yes, it's a film, and the first three were theatrical features, but this one went the TV route and straight to streamer. Some of the highlights in that vein: there's a Primetime Emmy nod for Outstanding Television Movie, and several Guild Awards it's up for, including Outstanding Achievement in Casting for a film first released for television or streaming by the Casting Society of America, Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Movies for Television by the Directors Guild of America, and Outstanding Producer of Televised or Streamed Motion Pictures by the Producers Guild of America. So where do I land? This film was actually a delight. After being unimpressed with the second and the third, again, hesitant, but happy to see that this franchise is aging gracefully. And look, this one is a solid 4 stars. As I mentioned a few times, to catch this one, just head over to Peacock. All right. Thank you for joining me for episode 69 of Award Season Reviews. We've got 29 days left in season 4, so make sure you stay with me. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, drop your thoughts in the comments. You can follow me everywhere on social platforms, on Letterboxd, and of course, head over to my website, cinephilemike.com, for more movie reviews and goodies. I'll be back tomorrow with the next review, the last one for BAFTA week. And until then, this is Cinephile Mike saying, Happy Valentine's Day. And also take a break and watch something new.